The 13th session of the Senate and the first regular session of the 19th Congress is hereby called to order. Our distinguished lady senator from Panay, Antique, the Republic of the Philippines, our Tita Ganda, will lead the chamber into prayer.
May I request that the 60 seconds song, I Am Amazed, be played with the video. Thank you.
Please proceed with the Secretary.
I feel you in the wind, I see you in the trees. Everywhere I look, I feel your heartbeat. Majestic mountains high, in every drop of rain. All of this just shows me how much you love me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your constant love for me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty.
Amen.
Amen. I'd just like to ask the good lady senator if those were beautiful scenes from our province of Antique.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The video were taken by my staff in recent years, and if I may divulge, this representation wrote the lyrics of the song. It's an abbreviation of a 3-minute song, but I thought you might be bored with the whole song. I can share it with you. It's 3 minutes of a song of praise for our Creator, which I thought I would share today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. What a beautiful song and video. Beautiful province as well. The secretary may please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senator Angara, Senator Binay,
Present.
Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito,
Present.
Senator Escudero, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe,
Present.
Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva,
Present.
Senator Villar Cynthia,
Present.
Senator Villar Mark, the Senate President.
With 16 senators physically present and 5 senators virtually present for a total of 21 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journals of the 11th session, Tuesday, August 16, 2022, and 12th session, Wednesday, August 17, 2022, and consider them as approved.
Is there any objection to the motion of the majority floor leader? There being none, rather, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the reference of business.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being none, Secretary, please proceed.
Bills on first reading, Senate number 651, providing a national policy on the prevention of teenage pregnancy, appropriating funds therefore, Senator Marcos.
Referred to committees on women and children, social justice, and finance.
652, providing for a special emergency leave for employees affected by natural calamities or disasters, Senator Tolentino.
Referred to the committees on labor and employment, civil service, and government reorganization.
653, strengthening the National Housing Authority, extending its corporate term, amending for the purpose PD 757, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Tolentino.
Referred to committees on urban planning and housing, government government corporations and public enterprises, rather, ways and means and finance.
654, institutionalizing the Philippine Navy for forward operating bases, appropriating funds for the establishment thereof and for other purposes, Senator Tolentino.
Referred to committees on national defense and finance.
655, institutionalizing government support to gifted and talented students, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Tolentino.
Referred to committees on basic education, higher technical vocational education, and finance.
655, strengthening the traditional and complementary medicine in the Philippines, amending for the purpose RA 8423 by Senator Tolentino.
Referred to committees on health, demography, and finance.
657, granting lifetime validity of Philippine passports issued to senior citizens, further amending for the purpose Section 10 of RA 8239 as amended, Senator Tulfo.
Referred to committee on foreign relations.
658, enhancing the promotion and adoption of solar technology and net metering among users, amending for the purpose RA 9513 and for other purposes, Senator Tulfo.
Referred to committee on energy.
659, amending RA 8042 as amended by RA 10022, providing for the deposit in an escrow account of the awards for money claims arising out of an employer-employee relationship and for other purposes, Senator Tulfo.
Referred to committee on migrant workers.
660, increasing the maximum value of the family home exempt from execution, for sale, or attachment, amending for the purpose Article 157 of the Family Code as amended, Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to committee on women, children, family relations.
661, instituting reforms in land administration system, creating the Land Administration Authority and for other purposes, Senator Cayetano.
Referred to committees on environment, natural resources, civil service, government reorganization, and finance.
662, creating the Department of Disaster Resilience, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to committees on national defense, civil service, government reorg, and ways and means and finance.
663, amending EO 209, otherwise known as the Family Code of the Philippines and for other purposes, Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to committee on women, children, family relations.
664, providing for the delineation of the specific forest limits of the public domain and for other purposes, Senator Estrada.
Referred to committees on environment, natural resources, local government, and finance.
665, providing mechanisms that shall ensure the effective implementation of RA 10176, otherwise known as the Arbor Day Act of 2012, Senator Estrada.
Referred to committees on environment, natural resources, and local government.
666, increasing the recruitment quota requirement of the female Philippine National Police Officers, amending Section 58 of RA 8551 and for other purposes, Senator Estrada.
Referred to committees on public order, dangerous drugs, women and children, family relations.
667, providing for the establishment of registries of professionals and skilled workers in barangays and for other purposes, Senator Estrada.
Referred to committees on labor and employment and local government.
668, providing for the rank classification and organization of key positions in the Bureau of Fire Protection, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, amending for the purpose RA 9263, as amended by RA 9592 and for other purposes, Senator Estrada.
Referred to committees on public order, dangerous drugs, local government.
669, regulating the imposition of fees for the use of parking spaces located within commercial and business establishments, institutions, and other parking facilities by Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committee on Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship.
670, mandating the Secretaries of the Department of Finance, National Economic and Development Authority, and Department of Budget and Management and the Governor of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to appear semi-annually before Congress to report on the status and directions of the fiscal and monetary policies of the state. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committee on Economic Affairs and Finance.
671, educating the public, senior citizens, their families, and their caregivers on identifying and preventing fraudulent activities targeting senior citizens. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Trade and Commerce as Social Justice and Welfare and Rural Development.
672, establishing the television broadcasting education program as an alternative learning system for basic education. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Basic Education, Public Services, and Finance.
673, creating the Office of the Mobility Czar to coordinate urgent related measures necessary and proper to effectively address the transport and traffic crisis and for other purposes. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Public Services, Constitutional Amendments.
674, providing for government financial institutions unified initiatives to distress enterprises for economic recovery. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Banks and Financial Institutions, Government Corporations, Public Enterprises, Ways and Means and Finance.
675, establishing the Young Farmers and Fisher Folk Challenge Program, creating for the purpose the Young Farmers and Fisher Folk Challenge Council, appropriating funds therefore. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Youth, Agriculture, Food, Agrarian Reform, and Finance.
676, strengthening the Commission on Higher Education, repealing for the purpose RA 7722 and for other purposes. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Higher Technical Vocational Education, Ways and Means and Finance.
677, institutionalizing the grant of a teaching supplies allowance for public school teachers and appropriating funds therefore. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Civil Service, Basic Education, Ways and Means and Finance.
678, institutionalizing the expanded career progression system for public school teachers. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Civil Service and Basic Education and Finance.
679, creating the Philippine Center for Disease Control and Prevention, defining its powers and functions for other purposes. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Health, Demography, and Finance.
680, requiring disaster-related information to be stated in accessible language to ensure public understanding thereof and to protect public health safety. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on Public Information and Mass Media.
681, providing free legal assistance to any officer or enlisted personnel of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police on any charge before the prosecutor's office, court, or any competent body arising from an incident or incidents related to the performance of official duty. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on National Defense, Public Order, and Finance.
682, providing for the development of a national defense industry through the strengthening and revitalizing of the self-reliant defense posture program, incentivizing in-country enterprises, rationalizing defense acquisition, and creating the Office of the Undersecretary for Defense Technology Research and Industry Development under the Department of National Defense, providing funds therefore. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on National Defense, Ways and Means and Finance.
683, rationalizing the disability pension of veterans, amending for the purpose RA 6948 as amended. Senator Estrada.
Referred to Committees on National Defense and Finance.
684, postponing the December 5, 2022 barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections, amending for the purpose RA 9164 as amended by RA 9340, 10632, 10656, 10923, 10952, and 11462 for other purposes. Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to Committees on Electoral Reforms, Local Governments, and Finance.
685, mandating the full digital transformation of all government agencies, offices, and corporations, including local government units, appropriating funds therefore for other purposes. Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to Committees on Science and Technology, Civil Service, and Finance.
686, amending Title 5, Book 3 of RA 7160, proposing a permanent item for a disaster officer in every local government unit. Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to Committees on Local Government.
687, providing barangay officials, including barangay tanods, members of the Lupon ng Tagapamayapap, barangay health workers, and barangay daycare workers a retirement benefit. Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to Committees on Local Government and Finance.
688, establishing resource centers for indigenous peoples to enhance and ensure delivery of essential services, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to Committee on Cultural Communities, Muslim Affairs, and Finance.
689, regulating the donation and transplantation of human organs and tissues from living donors. Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to Committee on Health and Demography.
690, establishing the Science for Change program. Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to Committees on Science and Technology and Finance.
691, providing for a new passport law, repealing for the purpose RA 8239 by Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to Committee on Foreign Relations.
692, an act to pursue the Armed Forces of the Philippines Modernization Program, amending for this purpose RA 9184. Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to Committee on Finance, National Defense, and Reconciliation.
693, instituting reforms in real property valuation and assessment in the Philippines, reorganizing the Bureau of Local Government Finance and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Revilla Jr.
Further Committees on Ways and Means, Local Government and Finance.
694, establishing the Forensic Science Institute in the University of the Philippines System, defining its functions, appropriating funds therefore, Senator Revilla Jr.
Further Committees on Higher and Technical Vocational Education, Public Order, and Finance.
695, institutionalizing the participation of civil society organizations in the preparation and authorization process of the annual national budget, providing effective mechanisms therefore and for other purposes, Senator Revilla Jr.
Further Committees on Electoral Reforms and Finance.
696, strengthening the traditional and complementary medicine system, amending for the purpose RA 8423 by Senator Revilla Jr.
Further Committees on Health, Demography, and Finance.
697, instituting the Food and Drug Administration as an independent agency, amending certain sections of RA 3720 as amended, and Republic Act Number 9711, Senator Revilla Jr.
Further Committees on Health and Demography, Civil Service, and Finance.
698, an act advancing the rights of street children by strengthening the Barangay Council for the Protection of Children and establishing an incentive system for the private sector engaged in the promotion of the welfare of street children and for other purposes, Senator Revilla Jr.
Further Committees on Women and Children, Social Justice, and Ways and Means.
699, establishing and organizing the Philippine Electronic Sports Commission and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Revilla Jr.
Further Committees on Sports, Civil Service, and Finance.
700, providing for a 3,000 peso increase in the monthly pension of war veterans and their dependents, Senator Revilla Jr.
Further Committees on National Defense and Finance. Additional reference of business. Let's proceed.
Additional reference of business. Bills on first reading. Senate Number 701, requiring all public telecommunications entities and internet service providers in the country to increase internet service coverage and deliver a minimum standard for internet connection speed, Senator Revilla Jr.
Committee on Public Services.
702, providing for parent support and for other purposes, Senator Revilla Jr.
Committee on Women and Children, Family Relations.
703, establishing the revised charter of the Government Service Insurance System, Senator Revilla Jr.
Further Committees on Government Corporations, Civil Service, and Ways and Means and Finance.
704, promoting the adoption of digital payments for financial transactions of the government and all merchants and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Banks, Financial Institutions, and Finance.
705, institutionalizing the implementation of the government internship program, providing funds for its implementation and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Civil Service and Finance.
706, institutionalizing sustainable coastal tourism, providing mechanisms for its institutionalization, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Tourism, Environment, Natural Resources, and Finance.
707, granting bereavement leave of 10 days with full pay to all employees in the private and public sectors and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Labor and Employment, Civil Service, and Government Reorganization.
708, declaring May 17 of every year as a National Day against homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, and phobias for persons of diverse sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or sex characteristics, by Senator Poe.
Further Committee on Women and Children, Family Relations.
709, incorporating the value of responsible, fair, and truthful usage and enjoyment of social media in schools and universities and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Basic Education, Higher Education, and there.
710, supporting the production of Philippine independent films by providing incentives to filmmakers who are given honors in notable international film competitions, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Public Information and Mass Media, Ways and Means of Finance.
711, establishing the Suporta para sa Produktong Pilipino program, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Trade, Commerce, Local Government, Finance.
712, an act to establish programs and activities to aid victims of elder abuse, provide training to health and government professionals in the assistance of such victims, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Social Justice and Finance.
713, appropriating the amount of 1 billion pesos to the Cancer Assistance Fund established under RA 11215 for the benefit of indigent and underprivileged cancer patients, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Health, Demography, and Finance.
714,
As well as Social Justice.
714, an act enhancing citizens' access to government information and services by requiring all government documents to be written in plain language and, if necessary, translated to local language or dialect, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Civil Service, Public Information, Mass Media, and Finance.
715, instituting a national comprehensive framework on resilient housing and human settlements, appropriating funds and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Further Committees on Urban Planning and Housing and Finance.
716, mandating the inclusion of foreign language other than English as an elective course in higher education curriculum, Senator Poe.
Further Committee on Higher Technical Vocational Education.
717, providing for stricter enforcement in the construction, installation, and maintenance of public safety signages, Senator Poe.
Referred to Committees on Public Works and Finance.
718, providing educational benefits to the surviving children of members of the PNP who were slain or were permanently incapacitated in the line of duty, creating the PNP Educational Benefits Fund for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Referred to Committees on Public Order, Basic Education and Finance.
719, amending the grounds for legal separation under Article 55 of the Family Code of the Philippines, Senator Poe.
Referred to Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations.
720, an act to protect the interests and welfare of Filipino seamen and sea-based migrant workers, establishing for the purpose a National Seafarers Administration, appropriating funds and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Referred to Committee on Migrant Workers and Finance.
721, mandating the provision of free on-site living quarters for public school teachers, providing funds, therefore, and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Referred to Committees on Urban Planning and Housing and Finance.
722, an act to enhance genuine Filipino culture, promote nationalism, and recognize writers and artists by supporting the Philippine comics industry through its mandated use in instructional materials in public schools, providing financial incentives and for other purposes, Senator Poe.
Referred to Committees on Culture and the Arts, Basic Education, Ways and Means.
723, amending RA 11223 by Senator De La Rosa.
Referred to Committees on Health, Demography and Finance.
724, amending RA 10586 and for other purposes, Senator De La Rosa.
Referred to Committees on Public Order and Public Services.
725, establishing the National Police Clearance System, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator De La Rosa.
Referred to Committees on Public Order, Dangerous Drugs and Finance.
726, establishing a forensic DNA database in the Philippines, appropriating funds and for other purposes, Senator De La Rosa.
Referred to Committees on Public Order, Dangerous Drugs, Justice and Human Rights and Finance.
727, amending RA 7305 by Senator De La Rosa.
Referred to Committees on Health, Demography, Civil Service and Finance. Ways and Means and Finance.
728, increasing the recruitment quota requirement of female Philippine National Police officers, amending Section 58 of RA 8551 and for other purposes, Senator De La Rosa.
Referred to Committees on Public Order, Dangerous Drugs, Women and Children, Family Relations.
729, an act amending Section 16 of RA 7160 and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committee on Local Government.
730, amending Section 55 of Batas Pambansa bilang 881, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committees on Electoral Reforms and Finance.
731, institutionalizing skills training program and providing job opportunities to persons deprived of liberty in detention facilities, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committees on Justice and Human Rights, Higher Technical Vocational Education, Finance.
732, creating the National Independent Commission Against Corruption, appropriating funds and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committees on Civil Service and Finance.
733, protecting unattended children in motor vehicles, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committees on Public Services, Women and Children, and Gender Equality.
734, deterring the continued proliferation of immoral doctrines, obscene publications and exhibitions, and indecent shows by increasing the penalties therefore and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committees on Public Information, Mass Media, Women and Children, Family Relations.
735, requiring the provision of infant-friendly facilities in government agencies and other establishments, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committee on Women and Children.
736, providing for mandatory free health maintenance organization plan coverage to faculty and non-teaching personnel in state universities and colleges and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Committees on Higher Technical Education and Finance.
737, institutionalizing the 1989 University of the Philippines Department of National Defense Accord, amending for the purpose RA 9500 and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committee on Higher Education, National Defense, and Unification.
738, requiring the display of calorie and other nutritional information in menus of food service establishments and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committees on Health, Demography, Trade, and Commerce.
739, recognizing alternative modes of public transportation, providing regulations governing their operations and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committee on Public Services and Ways and Means.
740, institutionalizing industry cluster-based programs and projects through interlocal cooperation and people's participation and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
Referred to Committee on Trade and Commerce, Local Government, Ways and Means.
741, rationalizing government interventions in labor disputes by adopting the essential services criteria in the exercise of the assumption or certification power of the Secretary of Labor and Employment, and decriminalizing violations thereof, amending for the purpose Articles 278, 279, and 287 of PD 442 and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
For the Committee on Labor and Employment.
742, providing campus housing to tenured personnel in state universities and colleges and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
For the Committee on Higher Technical and Vocational Education, Urban Planning and Housing and Finance.
743, requiring all foreign nationals who intend to work in the Philippines to present an employment permit prior to the issuance of non-immigrant visa or temporary admission to the Philippines, amending for the purpose CA number 613 as amended by Senator Villanueva.
For the Committees on Labor and Employment, Justice and Human Rights.
744, providing a standard of care for the treatment of persons with bleeding disorders, establishing treatment centers and appropriating funds therefore. Senator Villanueva.
For the Committees on Health, Demography and Finance.
745, requiring police and military personnel to coordinate with public educational institutions prior to entry in the premises thereof and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
For the Committees on Public Order, Dangerous Drugs, National Defense and Reconciliation.
746, strengthening the procedure for registration of voters during barangay elections, amending for the purpose RA 8189 and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
For the Committees on Electoral Reforms, People's Participation.
747, prohibiting discrimination on the basis of age, sex, civil status, color, economic status, ethnicity, medical condition, physical disability, political opinion or affiliation, race, or religious belief, providing penalties therefore and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
For the Committees on Social Justice and Cultural Communities.
748, extending the life of the Philippine Aerospace Development Corporation by another 50 years, amending for the purpose PD 286, series of 1973 as amended, and for other purposes. Senator Tolentino.
For the Committee on Government Corporations, Public Enterprises.
749, mandating the appointment of a human settlements and housing officer in provinces, cities, and municipalities, providing for its powers and functions, amending Section 17, 443, 454, 463, and Title 5 of Book 2 of RA 7160, and for other purposes. Senator Tolentino.
For the Committees on Local Government, Urban Planning, Housing and Resettlement.
750, requiring industries engaged in the exploitation of natural resources to give preferential employment to local residents, amending for the purpose the Labor Code of the Philippines. Senator Tolentino.
For the Committee on Labor and Employment, Human Resource Development. There is a second additional reference of business of a few pages. Let us continue. Please proceed.
Second additional reference of business, resolutions. PS Resolution number 150, resolution directing the Senate Committee on Public Works to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the structural integrity of all buildings, bridges, roads, railways, schools, hospitals, churches, and other infrastructures after the 7.0 magnitude earthquake that hit northern Luzon, in order to institute measures that would make the infrastructures in the country disaster resilient and ensure the safety of the general public in case of natural and man-made calamities, by Senator De La Rosa.
For the Committee on Public Works.
151, honoring and commending the 2022 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos, Senator Angara.
Refer to Committee on Rules.
152, commending and congratulating the 8 individuals recently conferred with the Order of National Artists, Senator Angara.
For the Committee on Rules.
153, declaring a climate and environmental emergency and calling for the mobilization of government agencies, local government units, and instrumentalities towards the effective implementation of environmental climate change adaptation and mitigation and disaster risk reduction and management law, Senator Legarda.
Refer to Committee on Environment, Natural Resources and Finance.
154, honoring and commending the awardees of the Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos of 2022, Senator Gatchalian.
For the Committee on Rules.
155, directing the Senate Committee on Youth to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the state of youth unemployment and underemployment with the end in view of strengthening existing government programs aimed at assisting youth employment and institutionalizing additional reforms, Senator Angara.
For the Committees on Youth, Labor and Employment, Human Resource Development. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr.
Majority
President.
Leader?
Thank you.
Just like to
Mr.
comment
President?
before
Yes,
you
I
make
just
the.
wanted to thank you, Mr. President, and all our colleagues for all the well wishes and the food pasalubong, Mr. President. Tumataba na kaming mga positive block. Mr. President, with the consent of the body, I move that we adjourn the session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Tuesday, August 30, 2022. I so
Yes,
move.
before we do that, Your Honors, before we act on the motion of the Majority Floor Leader, just to put it on proper context, there was a announcement of the suspension of work and classes today. We actually just worked overtime because the announcement was given, if I'm not mistaken, it was early lunchtime, around lunchtime. But since most of us were already at work in the different committees, we decided to hold session today. But the order of the President is for offices in NCR and nearby provinces due to the inclement weather brought about by the tropical depression Florida. And the work suspension that will happen, there might be questions on scheduled hearings. We leave it to the discretion of our distinguished colleagues. If you want to continue with your hearings, let's just take note, though, that our secretariat, of course, if there is no work, they'll have to work from home. So it is up to the committee chairpersons if they continue to hold the hearing with the permission, of course, of the secretariat tomorrow, or reschedule your hearing on Tuesday. So if there's no comments from our dear colleagues, the motion of the majority floor leader that we adjourn session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, August 30. And again, it's Tuesday, August 30 kasi meron pong holiday itong Lunes, national holiday po. Is there being no objection to the motion? We are adjourned until Tuesday, August 30. Please stay safe and healthy, everyone. Mabuhay po ang Senado.